questions rather. Remember, this is Python programming course, and for this course you are going to take a look at different things. So here we have some 2 questions for Python beginners, and it says the circumference of a circle is calculated by 2 pi r, where pi is equals to 3.14159 round off to 5 decimal places. Write a function called print. So this one is something that you have to note. The function has to be called print underscore circum that takes an argument for circle's radius and prints the circle circumference. Call your print circum function 3 times with the different values of radius. Include the following in your part 1 submission. Okay, the code for your print fractal function and the input. Okay, so for this first question, or this first part of the question, we are asked to define the function. So as you all know, head over to your favorite text editor. For me is VS Code, and once I open VS Code, I have to define this function, that function known as print underscore circum. So this is how you define a function in Python, and then it has to pass, you have to pass in what we call a parameter, a parameter which is known as radius inside there, and then from there we proceed to the other part of the question. Now you have to add the formula for calculating the circumference, which is circumference. I prefer to write it in full, so here it's circumference. So I don't know whether I'll wrote it well, like that, is equals to 2. Then we add an operator here, a Python operator, which is multiplication. So we have to add a multiplication sign here, 3.1. Oh, sorry. So this is 3. Remember, we are going to, this is the formula for calculating the circumference, 3.14159, like that, and then we multiply by the radius, the one that we passed in as a parameter. So here we are going to multiply that with radius, like that. So literally what this is how we calculate the circumference, and then from there we need to print something here, because we need to calculate that actual area. So we are going to print here, we are going to print like that. And now, as you know, for the Python keyword print, we have to pass in the circumference, the circum is okay, the circum, like that, circumference of the circle with a radius and now here what we are going to do is we are going to add a comma like that and pass in a radius here, like that, and then something else we are going to do is put a comma and then say something like is. So I add something else here, a string there is, and then here I put a comma and I say round, like that, so that we can round the circumference by 5. And now here inside I pass now circumference again, like that, and then I put a comma and then I include a 5 there. So this is basically the formula. And now let us call our function here. So I have to print, I just have to say print, or I just have to, yes, print circum. So I have now to call the function and pass in the radius. So remember, the radius is the parameter on top, something like maybe 7. I copy that and paste it several times, like 4 times, or I print for like that, like that, like that, like that. So I need to print different circumferences. Here I can say 5, 50, whatever, 35, 45, and maybe I can say something like also 14. So that is how you basically do the first task. Let us run it and see what it will produce. Once you run this one, you will see different things. This is the terminal. This is where we are running a project, and let's see what it will produce once we run it again. Just a minute. Remember, in Python, indentation matters a lot. You have to work on indentation in Python to make sure that your program or project is working. So you can see it has displayed all the circumference. Let me do it again. So the formula is basically calculating, and if you use the formula, the circumference of the circle with a radius of 7 will be 43, and the circumference with a radius of 5 will be 31. The other one will be 219. The other one will be 289. The other one will be 87. Basically, that is how you define a function in Python and calculate or do that task. So let us look at the second question. What does it require us to do? So the second question is here, or the second part. Welcome to your first project. Develop a catalog of a company. Assume that this company sells 3 different items. The seller can sell individual items or a combination of 2 items. A gift pack is a special combination that contains 3 gifts. So for this one, we are not going to struggle with it a lot. We are just going to define a function called items. Basically, it will be very easy. Define a function called items like that, and now we are not going to pass in the parameter as anything. We are just going to leave it like that. And now here inside, we don't require to do a lot of things. The first thing we need to print is a print statement that will print an online store, because this will be an online store like this, so that whenever someone visits here or visits this, we'll see this is an online store. So something else that we saw from the question is that so individual items of 3 items. I can choose something like, maybe let's say iPhones. They may be the items that will be of sale, and I may print. You have to print all the products, or all the items that are sold. So the first one here, maybe I will print is, I say it's iPhone. I did not include the bracket, which means like that. So this is iPhone. Maybe let me say iPhone 13 like that, and then I'll just have to add its price direct to it, so that we can of course see its price. I'm going to just guess random prices. So that is iPhone, and now I can print another item. I'll print something like, let's say 3 iPhones here. So like this, I may print like that. The first one, this may be, let me say iPhone 14 like that, and this one I say maybe 15, and this one 16. I don't know whether we have something like iPhone 16. For the numbers, I can just change anyhow to make sure that everything is running smooth, or I can remove one of them and then include it somewhere else like that. So I first of all defined a function called items, and then I printed this is an online store, something like that, or online store. And then from there, I have now to focus on the other part of the question, which is, so a gift pack is a special combination that combines 3 items. So, and then now here we have something else very important that we need to take a look at, which is this one. If a customer purchases individual items, he does not receive any discount. For the first 3, let me say for the first 3 items, the customer is not receiving any discount. Or let me give them what we call a very random number like that. So for the first 3 items, the customer will not receive any offer. But now, for if he or she purchases 2 items, he will or she will receive an offer. So something else I have to include here is like this, and I have to include, for example, let me say iPhone. I can include another one here. I can include iPhone 13, and then I include an addition button. Maybe the customer want to purchase the two of them with iPhone 14, like this iPhone 14. So if the customer purchases the two of these, he will receive a bonus. Let me say maybe if you combine the price of iPhone, yes, if you combine the price of iPhone 13 and iPhone 14, then you should be able to receive what we call let me first of all change this to a string. I change everything here to a string because I wanted to display like that. So if a customer purchases iPhone 14 and iPhone 13 and 14, if you add the two of them, it will give you $400. And now here from our question it says, if a customer purchases a combo of items, two unique items, he gets a discount of 10%. 10% of 400 is $40, which means the price should be 360 here, which means we have implemented the 10% discount. So I also copy this one so that we can deal with the other part. I paste it like that, and now I just have to eliminate the price here so that we can, here I know we will have to add another product, or not there. Here inside I know we are going to add another 3 products, and here I'm adding iPhone 15. And now we take a look at again at the question, and the question is saying that if a customer purchases a gift pack, he gets 25% discount. If he purchases everything, he will get 25%. So if we add the total 600 plus 300, that is that is 900 plus 100 US dollars, that is giving us 1000 US dollars. 25% of 1000 US dollars is going to give us 250. 1000 minus 250 will give us 750 US dollars here, like that. So now we have implemented the whole question, and now the last thing we are going to do is that we are going to call our item functions. And here I'm going to say items, and now pass in the parameter like that as empty, and I save everything. And when I run this one, I should be able to see everything here down, because you see the price of iPhone. Let me clear this and run it again so that it may be more clear to everyone. So you can see here, if one purchase, this is our online store, and if you purchase iPhone 13, you are going to purchase it at 100 US dollars. If you purchase iPhone 13, you are going to iPhone 14, you are going to get at 350. iPhone 15, you are going to get it at 600. If you purchase the two phones combined together, you are going to get 300. You are going to pay 360 US dollars. But now, if you purchase the full combo everything, you are going to pay it at 750 US dollars. Basically, that is how you can tackle the first questions, or that question, the first 2 questions in Python as a beginner. That here we have the question, or the first question rather. The following is the countdown function. So here we are given a function that is define a countdown n, which is a number which is passed in as the argument. If n is less or equal to 0, it should print blast off, else it should print n, then countdown n minus 1, or the number minus 1. And now here we have the answer that is saying, or the question that is saying, write a new recursive function count up that expects a negative argument and counts up from that number. The output of the running should look something like, so if you include the -3 somewhere, it should go from -3 to 0, and then it should write burst off. And now here you have write a Python program that gets a number using keyboard input. So this is the user's input, and now here you have, remember to use input for Python 3, but row underscore input for Python 2. Here I'm learning Python 3.12 or 3.12, whichever you would like to call it. If the number is negative, the program should call countdown. If the number is negative, the program should call count up. Choose for yourself which function to call. So for this, I'm going to my favorite editor, which is has already been, which is Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to define a function like that. And now this function should be called count, like that. Count, it's T not D. It should be countdown. So for this one, I have to pass in the argument as they have done it. So I pass in the not the argument but the parameter as n for number, and now here I say if n is less or equal to 0, like that, it should print. Here we should print what? As they are saying, we should print. Here I should say blast off. So here we are going to test a condition, and here I'm going to say else. Here we must include else, which is a Python condition that should check both sides. Print, we pass in the number all, and the number we are going to print is the number is the one we are going to pass in, and then we say count down, count, like that, count down into bracket. So here now we are passing the number that is on the top, and then we are going to subtract it to 1 if the number is a big number. And from there now I have to define another function here, so in order to tackle the two of them, and call it count up. Remember, I have defined a function known as count down, and now here I have count up, which will check the number if the number is negative, so that it can count up to 0. And the other one is that it should bring a big number all the way to 0, and say if n is greater or equal to 0. Yes, if n is greater or equal to 0, the same condition is almost similar to the same condition we applied on the top, like that. It should print here as usual. It should print blast off, like that. It should print blast off. Else, what if the number is not equal to 0? Else, like that, print into bracket. So here we are going to pass in the number. We should print the number, that actual number, inside there, and also we should say what? Count. It should count now upwards, like that. And now here, because we have to call our function and say it's n plus 1, we are going to add to that number. So from that one now we have to capture the user's input, or the user input, and to capture the user input we are going to use something known as, we just have to include a variable like that. Number is equals to integer, the data type of the number. It's an int, it's a number, not a floating. We don't want float, we just need int for this example. And here I have to put in the input like that, and now I have to add another bracket so that I can tell the user what they will have to do. Here I'll say enter a number, like that, enter a number. So once they enter a number here, we are going to check that number using the above functions. So from there now we have to check that number first, because that will be the first thing we have to do. We have to say if the number that we got from the user's input, which is number, if the number is greater than 0, like that, if the number is greater than 0, here we are going to say count down. So because we are going to downgrade the number, we are going to say count down into bracket. Here we pass that number, the user input, now like that. Count down, count down the number. And now here we say elif. Now what about if the number is less than, or if the number is less than 0, we are going to do what? We have to say what we are going to do here, and if the number is less than 0, we are going to count up so that it can be okay. We are going to count up the number and pass in what? And pass in that number here, so that we can start adding from that point. And now we haven't completed. What about if the number is equals to 0? Here, like that. If number, we just have is equals, because just a minute. So if the number is equals to 0, okay, so let just a minute for me to okay, I will just say else. So here I have to say else. I can just take that else here we should print, because we can't have a different condition. Blast off. I don't know whether I wrote well, so just have to write it as a I have just to write it very well as a string, like that. Now I think our program is good to go. Let's learn and see what we will get. So it's telling me to write a number. For example, I say 6. You can see the program is taking our number, which is 6. It is counting downwards. Once it gets to 0, it says it is blasting off our number. What about if I say something like, maybe let's say -5? Let's see whether it will work. You see, we are going from -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, and once we get to 0, we blast off the program, or we exist. It is breaking. What about if I put 0? If I put 0, the program is just blasting off. That is how we can tackle the first part of that question. Basically, this is the simplest program to tackle this question number 1. So all of this question. So now we will go to part 2 of the question and see what we will get. So let me take you to part 2. So for part 2, it is saying you are developing a program that performs a division operation of two numbers divided by the user. So this one you have to take the user. I think the user as the input, and then from there we are saying, however, there is a situation where a runtime error occurs due to division by 0. If you divide the number by 0, of course it won't run. To help junior developers learn about error handling in expression and condition, you want to create a program deliberately containing this error to guide them through diagnosing and fixing it. So basically, let's create this simple program. So for this one, you have to understand it is about the user input. So I have just to call the number. Let me say call this as number 1. So the reason why I included a 1 in this variable is to make sure I have the identity, or I included the correct identity. And then here I have to say the input, taking the user's input. And here now we pass in our parameter. I say it's enter number. So these are the numbers to be divided by the user, like that. And I also I'll copy this one. I have to copy this one again to use it somewhere else here. I write another one here, and this one I'll call it number 2. This is for identity purposes, not for something else. So for validation purposes, I have to say if, or I have to set a condition, number 2 or 1, whichever I may want to consider first, is equals to 0. It should not perform the calculation. If the number is equals to 0, I should print an error message here. Print error. Just have to, like that. It should print an error message here, like that. And else, if the error does not occur, we should go with an else, and else number 1 or 2, whichever it is, you should divide by number 2, like that. So remember, this is an operator in Python that we used to divide the two numbers, the slash, whichever you may want to call it. And now here I have to do something. I have to print now the answer that will be gotten from the two of them, like this. Here I have to include some things. I can say the answer for the sake of the answer is now. Here is where we pass in something else different just a bit, but it is very simple like that. And now here I include a plus sign, which means this is like concatenation. You add the two of them, I just do like that, a string, which means I have converted here the thing that will be returned to a string. So it should be able to, we should be able to divide the two numbers and print in the results. Let's see whether the program will learn and see what we will get as the answer. So here, let me clear the terminal for the sake of, let me run the program again from here. Let's see what the answer will display to be and see how we can solve it. So for the first thing we shall do here is that I shall pass in 4 as a number and I shall pass in 6 as a number, and yeah, the result is not defined. Okay, we are going to solve that in a bit. Okay, so result was not defined. Let me see, let's see whether I can try to add it here like that. Result is equals to number 1 and number 2, and I hope this one shall agree to run. I did not input the second number. Okay, so 7, number 6. Yes, you can see the answer now. The answer is 1 point whatever, it is there. So I can try to run this program and include maybe something like, let's say 6, and the other number it has to pass in is 0. The program is terminating itself, it's saying name error. Okay, and if I try to include number again like that, and number 2, maybe I say something like 0, you see we are getting, it is displaying an error here saying that, which is this error which I included here, saying that that is not the correct thing that I should include in that part. So basically that is how you can tackle the two questions that I just showed you. If you have any other ways or other comments, you drop them down in the comment section. Here is the question, and the question reads: write a Python program to display your name and perform the following action on it. So the first one is that it is going to display n character from left, so the number of characters from left, accept number of characters as input from the user, and now you have to count the number of vowels and reverse it. So basically that is our question, and I'm going direct to my favorite editor, which is VS Code or Visual Studio Code. And the first thing is that I'm going to write a variable named name, and I'm going to say is equals to, I'm going to take the user's input here, and here I'm going to write like this, and I'm going to say enter your name like that, and here I'm just going to leave it at that point. So basically that is the user's input. We have already collected the user's input. Now here we are going to call the n, which is the n that they are talking about, and it's the integer because it's the number of vowels that you need to collect from the user's input. Here it's from the user's input, and inside here I'm still going to pass in, because the user is the person who is going to enter the number of times. So here I'm going to say enter enter the number of characters to display from left, because we are considering it from the left hand side like that. And now that is another that is another variable that I've included in that place. And up to there I'm going to print, I'm going to pass in print here, and here I'm going to print using an f string. So for those who don't know what is an f string, consider taking a look. So I'm also going to consider having a new line, and now here I'm going to pass my information. I've not inputted it correctly. So that is a new line there basically. So here I'm going to use this bracket and include the n, which is the number. So and then here I'm going to say characters, and I'm going to say it's from left, like that, and I'm going to do like that. And also inside here I'm going to add something else. I'm going to also pass in like this and pass in name. So I'm going to pass in name so that we can take a look at it. And also I'm going to pass in like that. So basically this is how we are going to print everything. So now let's calculate the let's first of all include the vowels that we know that exists in grammar. The vowels is equals to, so for the vowels I can say we have a, e, o, and u. Also we have a. Remember here you have to include on both sides I, O, like that. And now here I'm going to say vowels. So vowels underscore count. You have to set this to be, you have to set in load not written correctly here, vowels like that, and this should be vowels underscore count, not capital, but I need it to be in small letters like that. Vowels underscore count is equals to 0. We have to set that as default, and then here we are going to set to say for characters or char, whichever, for characters in name, for characters in name, so the name that the user will provide. Here we are going to say if characters or character in vowels, so the vowels on top, yeah, for character, if there is a vowel there, here we should do what? We should count that. We should say vowels underscore count. So we should count that, and here we should say it's plus like that, and from there we should count and say is equals to 1. We should count it as 1, not 2, and from that point we should be able to print. So we should be able to print something here. So first of all I'll also include an f string again to make it very simple for me. So and say here number like that of vowels, and I'll say I'll include like that, and from there I have to include like this and say vowels underscore count. So just pass in vowels underscore count there, and everything else should be okay if I'm not wrong. So let me see. Oh, I passed in the wrong brackets here. Let me change that. Here it should be like that, not there, that other bracket. Yes, like that. I'm not trying to pass in something different. So from there let's now reverse the name. Let's reverse the name, and here I'm going to say reversed underscore name like that. is equals to, so here I'm going to say is equals to name, like that. And now here I have to pass in something different. I have to use these two dots, or these two, I don't know what I may call them, -1. So this one is the parameter that will reverse the name, so because it will take it the other way around. And now here I have to print what? I have to print the reversed words. I will also use an f string again here. So I'm going to pass in an f string. I also I want to print it in a new line, and here I'll say reverse. No, this is not yes, it's okay. So let me see whether it will be okay, like this, reversed underscore name. Yes, reversed underscore name. That is what I'm going to include here. And once I'm here, I put it like this, and then I also include this other bracket, and say, and call now the reversed. I'm going to write the reversed underscore name there, like that. So basically that is going to call that name there. So I guess from here now we should try to test the program and see what it will print. Let's see what we will get. So for example, I may say Johnson, like that, and number tell the number of characters to display from the left. Let me say maybe 3, and you see it has printed one reversed name. Is, I think the program is working very well. You see it is able to reverse, and the number of vowels, it's able to print them. So from the left we have 0 vowels, the first number, which means the first number is not a vowel, the second number is a vowel, and then the third number is a vowel, the fourth, the fifth, and it's saying to, or something like that. Basically that is how you can tackle that question. And I guess we have looked at everything. Maybe if there is something else you'd like to add, or you can comment down anything else that you'd like us to take a look at. Thank you. And as I'm saying, so the question is, design a program such that it converts a sentence into a word list, reverse the word list, then write the code and the output for the same. So here we are going to write a program that is reversing the word. And as I usually say, I'm just heading direct to my favorite editor, which is Visual Studio. So here I just have to define a sentence variable. Let me clear this and say not capital, I need the small, like that. So it doesn't matter how you write it. And for the sentence I have to write something like learn, like this, computer science with. So basically this is our sentence, the sentence that we want to reverse. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to define another function, and I'll name it word list. Another variable, not a function. This is another variable, and I'll say sentence. So here like this, and then I have to add a dot, and here I have to say split, which means I have to split the sentence into different parts. So here I have to add like that. And once I split the sentence, I have to reverse it. So I have to say reversed, and I have to just write it as a variable, and also I have to include the word list, like that. And something I have to add is some of these reversing parameters or functions that we use to reverse. And now here I'm going just to print out the results. So the first thing I'm going to print, it has to be the original sentence. So here I just have to write original like that, and then I'm going to add it like that, and then here I'm going to call my I'm going to call what, so let me see, the original, I have to call my sentence as my original sentence, the one that I passed in, and I also have to print now the second one which has been reversed. You have to say reversed just like that. It doesn't matter about the spelling for now. And here I'm going to say I am going to pass the reversed whatever like that. So, and this one should be able to produce our program very well. So let me see. Yes, it is able to produce that very well. You can see it is starting as for the original, it is saying it's run computer science with Johnson, but then for the reverse, it is putting them each and every word at a time as a string. That is how you can implement a very simple program that can try to print in all, to reverse words, and also to break the word into word list. So basically the first word is a word list, the second one, that is why we included a word list here, and we also added a split function. That is how you can basically split any word in Python. And here our question goes: in a program, a dictionary contains a list of students and their courses. The teacher is interested to have a dictionary that has the courses as key and the students enrolled in the courses as values. Each key has 3 different values. To address this requirement, write a function to invert the dictionary and implement a solution that specifies the teacher's need. In particular, the function will need to return each of the list items into a separate key in the inverted dictionary. So I just head over direct to my text editor. The first thing is to define that function, and I'll define that function called inverted underscore d underscore ditch for dictionary. So like this for dictionary, and then here I have to pass in something which is original. So I have first of all to pass in the original underscore dictionary here like that, and now here I have to continue with it and say what. So here I have to call the inverted underscore dictionary, and I assigned it. So I assigned this to an empty, not an empty dictionary, but something like an array. So from there I have to say for something like student, because we are dealing with students here, for student comma courses, and like that, courses in original dictionary, original dictionary like that, dot items. So all the items or all the things inside that dictionary, I have to call it like that, and then here I have to pass in something else, and then here I have to call for courses like that, for courses in courses in course, or for course in courses. So for course in courses like that, and then we say if course or course, if course not in
inverted dictionary, just yes, inverted dictionary, like that. We do something different here. We say inverted dictionary, and here we pass in the course, or yes, the course, like that. And then here we say is equals to, and here we put an empty dictionary, like that. And then here we come and say inverted dictionary, like that. And here now we pass in the course, like that. And here we say dot append, so which means we will add it, dot append. And now inside here we say we add the student, like that. So, and now we return, we should be able to return inverted dictionary. So that is the first one. And now we have to write the dictionary and say original dictionary, original, we have to define it. So original underscore dict, like that, is equals to, and now here this is where we are going to pass in the words in that dictionary. So for the courses we were given something that looks like a condition here that we are going to work with, and for that one I'm going to say something like this way. So for the way they gave us student 1, and here now I have to pass in the courses that the student is doing. So for the courses I have to write them as strings. For example, I can say CS 50, and then I have to add another course here. I can say something like CS, I have to add it as a string, like that. I say CS 21, I add something else here, something like CS 2402, like that. So that is student 1, and I have to write another student here. So for another student I have to add student, not in caps, I have to say student 2 for the second student, and now I have to pass the courses there, like that. And now from this one I have to say something here like this. So here I have to pass in the courses also, just yes, I have to pass in the courses. I say CS, maybe this is doing CS 2001, like that, and also doing CS something like 1101, and also doing something else like CS 56, maybe something like that. I don't know whether that still exists. So I guess we are still okay. I guess we should be still doing well, only that I forgot to add a comma here, like that. So from there I have to print and see what I got. I have to print like that, and what I'm going to pass inside here when I'm printing is original dictionary, like this, original dictionary. And also something else I'm going to print is same to this one. I have to call the actual dictionary, so I'm going to print something here, and then here I'm going to put an underscore dictionary, original underscore dictionary, like that. And then from there I come here and say inverted underscore dictionary. So in order for me to summarize this, is equals, so I'm still assigning the inverted dictionary to the inverted dictionary, but then here I have to pass in something here as a parameter, and I'm going to pass in the inverted dictionary as a parameter still. And then here I'm going to print, and what I'm going to print here is basically I want to print in a new line, and I'm going to write inverted dictionary, like that. And now I'm going to print now the actual dictionary. Here I'm going to say the inverted dictionary, which is that one. So for this program it should run well without having any complications, and we should be able to solve that challenge or that question. Let us see what we will get as the output. So I'm getting original dictionary. Yeah, I guess I got an error because of the numbers. I used a capital here instead of a small number. I guess now it should run well, or it should run well. Original dictionary. So I still got another error. Let me see where the error is coming from. This is the original dictionary. If I may confirm, that is the original dictionary. So I passed in the original dictionary as a string here instead of like that. So let's see what will it display. And yeah, let me clear this and learn it again. So we first of all get the first dictionary, which is this one here displaying here, the first one. So for student 1 and student 2, and the inverted underscore dictionary, I guess I never got it very well. So dot items is the one that is bringing all these errors. Let me check something. Yeah, basically that is how you should take a look at it, and I guess by now you should be able to debug such kind of small mistakes as you are going on with this course. See you in my next video.